Unfortunately, she did die.
Right. So can I go talk to her?
Mr. Amoff, your wife is dead.
What are you talking about?
Okay.
What happened to her? What happened to her?
Matt Damon heads an all-star cast as he reunites with his Ocean's 11 director. Hello there everyone, and thank you once again for returning to ReelScreenReviews.com. I am movie critic Nick Iacobucci, and our next movie review is the scary and very tight thriller, Contagion. Contagion opened in worldwide release on Friday, September 9th, 2011, and it stars the aforementioned Matt Damon, Marion Cotillard, Kate Winslet, Gwyneth Paltrow, Jude Law, and Lawrence Fishburne. This film comes to us from Academy Award-winning filmmaker Steven Soderbergh, who also happens to be one of my favorite directors, having helmed Traffic, Out of Sight, and going all the way back to 1989's Sex, Lies, and Videotape. This time out, he recruits what has to be one of the best ensemble casts in years to deliver one hell of a quality thriller. This tale tells of a virus so contagious that it can contaminate a host merely by being inhaled. The main problem facing society is that the virus is spreading much faster than the scientists can possibly contain it. Another major issue facing the world is the anarchy that seems to be dispersing quicker than the disease itself. While individuals struggle to survive each and every day evading infection, they will also have to fear any and all people for which they come into contact. You don't know who is safe and who is not, and put in the simplest of terms, it is the worst case scenario that the planet Earth could possibly face in the tail of a deadly virus. Well, people, Contagion, just like 2003's Identity or The Crazies from a few years back, shatters the notion that all horror films are throwaway films or garbage. Now, if you're talking about the Friday the 13th films, then yes, those are crap, but all of these three movies that were mentioned accentuate terror and fear at its absolute best. Leave it to Steven Soderbergh to take a premise that could have been made into an average or even below average feature and absolutely raise it to the next level. Now you can easily start with the stacked deck of Academy Award winners and nominated actors, or the style and brilliance for which Soderbergh utilizes the camera. Any way you cut it, this is just quality filmmaking at its best. There are also many things to frighten and scare you with Contagion. The collapsing of a society that spreads almost as fast as the sickness, or the fact of a congestive cough that is certain death to anyone with any kind of intelligence. The film doesn't hold back with victims either. Women and children are not spared in the least, and seeing as they start the story with these events, that sets the tone for the entire feature. It's almost as if the virus is smarter than we are. You know, I guess I just never realized how much one actually touches their face. It comes out to be about 1,800 times a day, or 2 or 3 times every minute. After seeing Contagion, you will immediately want to wash your hands, and you will never hear someone sneeze quite the same again. It really takes normal and everyday things and turns them into recipes of terror. Like a local bus ride, going to the store, or just meeting and interacting with others becomes a struggle for survival. And then as the tale plays on, it's very difficult for the non-infected to even have sympathy for those that are sick, because you have to look out for yourself and your loved ones. Contagion is also very smart, introducing many aspects of the outbreak you wouldn't normally think of. Disease, profiteering, kidnapping, and ransom were 3 things that weren't in the front of my brain, but they would most likely be at the forefront of a catastrophe of this magnitude. This feature really plunges you into one terrible situation and then keeps you there almost the entire running time. Only near the end were there any signs of safety or happiness. At 1 hour and 46 minutes, Contagion was one of the most beautifully shot and crystal clear films that I've seen in recent memory. It has a villain that doesn't discriminate, and when it's combined with basic math, it's easily one of the scariest villains in the last couple months. I thoroughly enjoyed Contagion from start to finish, and one of the very few complaints that I even had was that it was just tough to watch in spots. It was tough watching the helplessness and knowing that there was no other choice but to let it happen. All in all, this is well above average and worth anyone's time and money. 3 stars out of 4, and remember people, I'm not always right, but only when it comes to the movies, and thank you very much for your attention.
Get back in your car! We're not sick!
It's figuring us out faster than we're figuring it out.
It's mutated.